Hello there. It's your girl Valerie Mason Chase. And I have the Cookie Man here with me this evening. Now, I may be having an audio issue. If I am, could I get someone, if you're listening and if you can hear me, just tell me in the comments. Okay, I thought I had all the kinks worked out. I did a test last week and I'm not so sure. So if anybody is there, if you're watching at all, put it in the comments whether or not you can hear me. Maybe I'll text my son John to see. But anywho, I pray that you can hear us.
If not, we'll teach them sign language.
Well, you know sign language. I absolutely do not. So I don't know who might be out there watching, but I pray that you can.
Wait, someone says something. I'm here.
What?
John.
Okay, John, can you hear? Oh, yes, you can hear me.
Okay.
Praise God.
Can hear you.
So anyway, hello. Thank you, baby boy. So welcome to another episode of Marriage Beyond the Breach, where we want to remind you it is our firm belief that that no marriage is beyond redemption. And we believe no marriage is beyond redemption, but there's a caveat. As long as the people involved are willing to do the work, committed,
a couple punches,
committed to each other, and committed to the relationship.
How come you ain't smiling? You make a little joke, trying to be all serious.
Okay,
because breathe. He can hear us. Breathe.
I freaked out a little bit when I played the intro and I could not hear it. I freaked out a little bit. So now that I know that you guys can hear me, that's the most important thing. So, like I said, we have the Cookie Man here with us today, and so here's what we're going to be talking about.
And it must be a good topic because the Knicks is playing right now.
Oh my goodness!
I'm missing the Knicks, even though it was the last game of the season, and all the starters are on the bench. It's still the Knicks.
It's still the Knicks.
I'm like Spike Lee. I can't be in front row at the Garden, but I could be front row in my
you
man
could be
cave.
Front, right? But I appreciate the fact that you are front row here with us tonight. And stop looking at the clock. Okay. So here's where we are for tonight. Tonight we're going to dive into a question that is sometimes whispered in dating conversations. Might speak about it in counseling sessions, and even might be given a warning by some mothers and some daughters. And that is this: watch how he treats his mother, because that is how he'll treat you. But here's the question: is that wisdom, or is that an oversimplification? So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And those of you who are watching live, I want to encourage you, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you're married, it doesn't matter if you're a husband or a wife, and if you have anything that you'd like to contribute to this conversation, I absolutely welcome you.
But is that always really absolutely true?
Honey, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Okay.
We are diving into We're diving into this. We have a lot of areas to cover. We're gonna, when we get to the end, we can each give our I guess assessment or opinion in terms of whether we believe that's true or not. So what do people typically mean when they say, watch how he treats his mother? And typically what they're suggesting is that a man's behavior towards his mother, whatever that looks like, in terms of his level of respect, in terms of his empathy towards her, in terms of the ways in which he communicates with her, and even with emotional regulation, that it has a tendency to reflect how he may treat women in close relationships. And this typically, we're talking about in romantic relationships, but this can even relate to how a man treats his female friends. But tonight we're going to be focusing on how a man treats his wife and how that is impacted by the relationship he has with his mother. So another question to think about is,
yes, how does a man's early attachment to his mother shape his adult romantic relationships?
yeah, and
Oh, let me keep reading, babe.
keep reading.
It influences his attachment style,
Mhm,
emotional availability,
mhm,
conflict responses, expectations of intimacy,
mhm.
shaping how he connects, trusts, and navigates closeness within romantic partnerships.
Yeah. So a man's attachment to his mom absolutely has a huge potential
Mhm.
to impact his attachment style. And so, what do we mean by attachment? We've talked about this before. And attachment styles are just patterns of how we as adults relate to others. And it develops from early interactions with caregivers and it influences adult relationships. Now, when that primary caregiver is the mom, so that's what we're talking about. We are in, for the purposes of this conversation, the primary caregiver that impacts the attachment style would be the mother. And there are different attachment styles. Secure, obviously. Then there's the avoidant attachment style, there's the anxious attachment style, and the disorganized attachment style, which is kind of a little bit of both anxious and avoidant. I'm not going to go further talking about attachment styles tonight because we've had at least 2 episodes that did address attachment in the past. So if you are curious about it, you could do some more research on your own, or you can go back and look at our previous episodes where we discussed attachment style. So, Frank, I want to ask you, how do you think that your attachment to your mother shaped how you showed up as a husband in our marriage?
Well, I think the first thing that shows up in any son-mother relationships
Mhm,
that extends beyond the house
mhm.
is how would I describe it? As a wanting to protect. Because as a
Okay.
young teenager or young kid growing up,
Mhm,
I wanted to make sure my mother was safe.
mhm, mhm,
If there was anyone bothering her or something like that, I felt like, even though I probably wasn't as big as her, but I felt like I could defend her in any way possible.
mm,
And I think that transfers outside the house when you get a girlfriend, serious relationship,
mhm,
and a wife. Your first thing, especially early on, is to want to protect,
mhm, mhm,
provide in the
mhm.
sense that obviously I wasn't providing for my mother, but those some of those things you learn. In my case, growing up in a single household, I learned the protecting things.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure she was okay. Some of my behaviors showed up as opening the door for her,
Mhm,
things like that, that she instilled in me
mm,
as what a man should do when he takes on a relationship outside the house.
mhm. Okay. So another thing to be curious about, and
Hmm.
here's another question. Can overdependence on a mother affect emotional availability in marriage? And the short answer is absolutely yes. Because when a husband is overly dependent on his mother, it can result in divided loyalty, divided emotional loyalty. It can limit how he, and the clinical term is individuate or individuation, how he separates or shows up as an individual and not as someone who's still attached to his mom. It can reduce a husband's capacity to be fully present, to be responsive and bonded to his wife when or if there is an over dependence on his mother.
And, sometimes that bond
Mm-hmm.
is a difficult road to navigate and to separate from.
Yeah.
Because okay, I meet you when I'm 20, let's say 20.
Mm-hmm.
So for 20 years of my life, I've been living with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's an attachment to,
Yeah.
and to now try to move away from that
Mm-hmm.
can be challenging. And
Yeah.
especially if the relationship was overbearing, the mother was overbearing or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think what helps tremendously is a woman you're involved with who can recognize that issue,
Mm-hmm.
don't take it personal,
Mm-hmm.
and between the two of them help. Because let's face it, your mother shapes you to a point,
Mm-hmm.
and then your wife comes into your life.
And then we do the shape.
You got to maybe do some reshaping. But between your mother and possibly meeting your wife, whatever your mother shaped for the good, here you are out there by yourself. You done messed up that. And now here she come, the wife, and now she's got to reshape everything else. But like seriously, that bond to separate, to show up as a individual, so to speak, a man, can be challenging. And I saw that in our early relationship. Between you and my mother.
And and that makes a lot of sense. And I think that is why there is this this trope, this stereotype about the mother-in-law, and how there is this tension and this competition and all this stuff between a man's wife and his mother. And I think the fact that some men do struggle with that, and how to navigate it in a healthy way, is at the root of all of that. You hear comedians may make jokes about it. You see shows where the wife and the mother-in-law are at odds. So I think that is at the root of it. But we have to think about, what does a healthy boundary, and we're going to be using that word a lot tonight. What does a healthy boundary between a man and his mother look like once he is now married? So the short answer for that is, a healthy boundaries mean that the wife is the primary emotional partner. I'm going to say that again. With the healthy boundary, I don't care how much a man loves his mom, and that's an absolutely wonderful thing when he does. But a healthy boundary means that the wife is the primary emotional partner. And there has to be clear limits around decision-making, around privacy, and around influence. Because as a man is growing up, his mom is the person who influences him the most. Moms and dads, when the dad is present, but we're talking about moms tonight. Right. The mom is the primary influence in his life. And in order for there to be a healthy boundary, that's got to shift. So now the primary influencer now has to become the wife. So I want to talk a little bit about, there's this E word. In other words, mama gotta mind her business. Yep, absolutely right. Not for nothing. Sometimes not only is it a struggle for the man, the husband, the son, sometimes it's a struggle for us mothers, because we have got to know to stay the heck in our lane.
If I may, one way that a healthy boundary can come up, you're talking to your mother, things are being, whatever you're talking about. And the man always says, well, you know what, mom, that sounds good, but I got to get back to you because, I got to run this past my wife.
Right.
No decision should be made based on a suggestion from your mom alone. From mom alone. Hey, I love you, mom. Absolutely. That sounds good, but you know what?
Right.
I can't say yes now until I talk to my wife.
Exactly. And I love it when our sons do that. Matter of fact, I think it was a couple of weeks ago or last week or whatever, when the babies were going to be here, and I asked John, we wanted to take all the babies for a swimming lesson. And I was on the phone with John. I had mentioned it to John. And he said, yeah, go ahead and take them. I said, no, talk to Liz first before you say yes. Well, you got my yes. I don't need to talk to her. You got my yes. I said, no, baby. And I said to him, it's not about you and her. It's about me and her, because I don't want her upset with me, thinking that I did something just on your word without considering her. I do not want that to happen. John said, I said yes. And that was the end of it.
Yeah. But I was going to say, since you're talking about John, in his defense, I've heard him say many times, hey, that sounds okay with me, but I got to check with Liz and see what our schedule is.
Yes, he says that.
So even though he might puff and act like he made the final decision, when he left here and got home, he checked in.
Oh, you know he's gonna check.
Which is okay. I ain't mad at you.
No, because see, that is what he is supposed to do as a married man in a committed relationship. His wife is number one in his life, not me. And he, even if it's something that I, as his mother, wants to do, he must check in with his wife. He's got to check in with his wife. That's the right thing to do. So sometimes there is what's known as enmeshment. That's a clinical term. And enmeshment simply means there's a lack of psychological boundaries where a son/husband remains overly emotionally fused with his mother. And that can lead to sometimes the blurring of roles in his relationship, over involvement and difficulty prioritizing his spouse. So how can, and when or if enmeshment shows up, how can that impact a wife emotionally and relationally? Oh, Liz said, yeah, he did check on the swim lesson. See, that's what he's supposed to do, Liz. Yeah, I ain't having that. I'm not having that. Him making a decision, especially if it's something I want to do with the babies. So, if there is that enmeshment between a man/son/husband, and his mother, sometimes it can leave the wife feeling like a secondary person, and not primary in that man's life. It can result in sometimes the wife feeling not seen. It can make her feel invalidated. And very often, it has a great potential to cause conflict. Oh, hey, Nene. Hey, Nene, thank you for checking. It can create conflict, and it can result in there being difficulty in establishing unity and trust within that primary relationship, which is between the husband and the wife. So what are your thoughts on that? I see you thinking.
Yeah, because I'm hearing this and I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's two schools of thought. Because the first thing that came to my mind, if the woman, the wife, is secure in her position, being married, you think she can't understand? I might be struggling, like I said earlier, I might be struggling to get that enmeshment or to break that bond.
Right.
And I might even explain that to you. Do you think a wise woman wise wife might try to navigate that, speak to it, and don't act like you're the secondary, take it personal?
Well, I'm assuming you want me to answer that. Well, first of all, I think it's next to impossible to not take it personally because these are very personal relationships.
Okay, got it.
Now, I do agree that a wise, emotionally healthy,
all those
emotionally intelligent,
correct,
and mature wife can help her husband navigate getting rid of that enmeshment, can help him navigate that. But the wife has got to be careful in how she does this. Because otherwise it has the potential of leading to the husband resenting the wife.
Right. If she's coming at him
the wrong way,
screaming, demanding, what's the other word I'm looking for? Ultimatum type statements. Okay.
So Liz said regarding, I'm gonna put this up on the screen. She said, regarding the enmeshment with son and mother, I would find it extremely frustrating if son had to check with mom when asked to do something. That's a huge no-no. Absolutely. Y'all want to do something? And he said, I got to check with mom.
The only reason he checking with mama to see if she can babysit. Other than that, other than that, absolutely. You know, to Liz's point, there are some marriages where the husband will do that. Well, then
that's a huge problem.
Those are issues.
And that speaks to a high level of enmeshment between that husband and his mother. So yeah. So babe, what are some of the red flags and how a man relates to his mother that women should not ignore when they see them.
That's comment right there was a red flag. Hey, listen, we can't go out until I check up with my mama.
Unless, like you said, they're checking the babysit.
Or she's calling 10, 15 times a day, no matter what time it is, or just showing up to the house without giving us a holler.
Without notice. Yeah.
Those are some red flags. Or again, you express yourself of something my mother said to you. And I say, well, get over it. Hey, it's okay. I choose not to believe it. Those are all red flags.
Yeah. And listen, I know that in some families and some relationships, they navigate it differently, but I'm going to speak from my perspective because, this is our podcast. I don't encourage, nor do I support a mother or father showing up to their adult child's home without notice. Absolutely not. I don't care if you're around the corner. You call first. Is it okay? I'm down the block. I'm at Wawa and I was thinking about stopping by to see y'all. Is it okay? You do not show up to your adult child's home without notice, especially when your son has a partner. You just don't do it. I think that's a problem. To me, that's disrespectful.
So wait,
because you're not respecting that woman's home.
Why become, especially if you got a partner? So it sounds like there's some wiggle room if you don't have a partner.
No, because see, a grown man who has his own place can have that agreement with his mom. They can have that agreement that, hey, mom, it's all right to just stop by anytime, or his mom may have the key to his place. He may say that. They may have that agreement. But when there's a wife involved, when there is a living partner involved, no. You don't just show up.
And you know what? It's funny because I was struggling with that. I'm out and about. Maybe I need to stop at my son's house. I always figure I just pop up. Val was off. Nah, you got to call my own spot. What I got to call for?
That's right.
But I get it. Now granted, I might be 5 minutes away and call.
That's okay.
But as opposed to just showing up unannounced completely.
We don't do it. And see, you have to be prepared to hear, well, mom or dad, now's not really a good time. See, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because as a wife myself, I know that there are certain things I may want to have in place before the mother-in-law, or the father-in-law, or anybody for that matter, may happen to come over. But yeah, that is disrespect is a red flag. Hostility towards from the husband/son to his mom. That's a red flag. Inability to set boundaries, prioritizing his mother over his partner. Those are red flags that I think bear investigation, if nothing else. Because it's something we have to consider. We have to consider what has been the relationship between that mother and son.
Right.
Now, even in the most fractured and dysfunctional relationships, a man disrespecting his mother is inappropriate, regardless of whatever their relationship has been. So disrespect from a man to his mom is a huge no-no. Now, if they don't have a close relationship and if they don't communicate well, and if he kind of distances himself from his mother, that, from my perspective, bears investigation. Why is that?
Right, of course.
Is it because she was a crackhead for the first 16 years of his life and wasn't there, and they never had an opportunity to build that relationship? Was there physical abuse? Was there emotional abuse? What was it that resulted in this husband being very distant from his mother? I think when there is over involvement, I think that bears investigation as well. If every time you turn around, he's over his mama house. If every time you turn around, like you said, mama calling every day, 2 or 3 times a day, they got to talk every day. And if they don't talk every day, both of them feel out of sorts. Well, that's a bit much.
The only part that I disagree depending on, because you didn't mention if there's some health issues with the mother, which requires him to be there.
That's different.
Every day, every 3 days or something like that to make sure that the outside help just getting is in place, or just to check in on or something like that.
Yeah.
So
you're right. You are absolutely right. Yeah, because if there are health issues, obviously that's, I believe, is appropriate. So Liz also said that financial and basic responsibility dependency on mother is a red flag. You're absolutely right. Because especially he's supposed to be grown. He's supposed to be grown, and mama paying his rent, or mama paying half his rent, or mama paying for his car note, and he's supposed to be grown. Yeah, that's a red flag. It's a red flag in that, at least from my perspective, this man is not ready to be in a committed relationship. He certainly ain't ready for a wife. He's not ready for a wife. What do you think? I see you. I see you thinking.
No, because the only thing I was wavering. I said when that hand, that dependency, so to speak, comes out once in a while. That happens in the best relationship.
But see, that's not a dependency.
Okay, right, true.
It's not dependent. A dependency is when mom and them paying the rent or have to rent
on a regular basis.
On a regular basis,
right? Every month, instead of the bills going to your house, they come in our house.
Right. That is the problem. And someone who's in that position, they're just not ready, and it's okay to not be ready.
Of course.
But I believe that someone in that position should be honest about it. That they are financially dependent on their parent, on their mom. So we talk a lot about red flags. What about some green flags? What might be some green flags, babe? And indicate that there's a level of emotional maturity and that this man is ready for marriage. He's ready to take on a wife.
Well, again, I think we touched on some green flags would be, hey, no, I'm not making decisions without including I'm not making decisions based on something
my mama
and them said without running it through my wife, stuff like that. What else? I'm not sure. Let me think. Respectful and caring toward his mother while maintaining. Okay, let me read that slowly.
Yeah.
Respectful and caring toward his mother while maintaining clear boundaries, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Emotional independence, ability to prioritize his partner's. Hold on, did I miss a line?
His
partner's healthy communication and demonstrate capacity to separate.
You need to put your reading glasses on.
I know, maybe that's it. Because the words are kind of blurry.
Yeah.
Demonstrate capacity to separate family influence and marital decision making.
Okay. Listen, y'all. My husband, he can read. He just didn't have on his reading glasses. Okay. So I think some green flags is when a man is respectful to his mother, when he's caring about his mother, but he is able to put up those appropriate boundaries.
Right.
When he can still prioritize his partner. So those are definitely green flags when you're dating someone. And I think we as women, we definitely should look at that. We should look at how a man relates to his mother. Because my mama did tell me this when I was growing up, to watch how a man treats his mother, because more than likely that's how he's going to treat you. And in some regards, I do believe that. I do believe that to be true. I know you had said
absent of those other things you mentioned, abuse, stuff like that.
Right.
Where the relationship is so fractured, you might come in later and see that he doesn't really talk to his mother when y'all are together, based on suggestion. Maybe, why don't you check on your mother? I don't want it, but though there was some issues there that does that.
Absolutely.
You were gonna say
no,
something?
I was gonna say that you had alluded to early in our relationship when there appeared to be some tension between me and your mom. You remember that?
Oh yeah. I definitely see. It's funny. I definitely remember it. And I also was going to say, sometimes the issue can come up when the mother feels like her territory has been encroached upon.
Right.
There's some jealousy, and she's not ready to. What's the word? Leave. What we say?
Leave and clean.
She's not ready to let go.
Right.
So it can cause a problem if the husband sides with the mother, all hell's going to break loose, possibly. But I noticed some
Yeah.
But you handled it well. She handled it well.
Okay. Thank you. I believe I handled it well. So I just to give a little background on that happened. And thank you. I see T. Thomas. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And if you haven't already done so, I appreciate if you subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. So it was early in our relationship. I don't know, were we already living together at that point? I don't remember. I think
Probably.
we were, because I remember I wrote a letter to her.
Yeah, we met March of 80. We were.
No. We moved in together in January of the following year.
I was about to say that, baby.
Yeah.
I was going to say, after meeting March in 80, we were damn near living together 6-7 months later. I know that.
But honey, between March of 80 and January of 81 is more than 6 months.
I know that too, honey.
Anywho.
Numbers, I know my numbers. But
anyway. So what had happened was, there was a time when Frank and I were over at his mom's house. And I don't know, I just felt something. And there was kind of an unease. There was this tension. There wasn't anything that explicitly that was said, but it was something that I sensed. So what I did, I wrote a letter to my mother-in-law. Well, she wasn't my mother-in-law then, but she was about to be, because I think it was after we had gotten engaged. We got engaged in January of that year of 81. And this was before texting. We ain't nobody had no cell phone. This was before email. We didn't do any of that. So I sit down and physically wrote her a letter. And I'm kind of paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, but what I alluded to is that we both love Frank. You love him as his mother. I love him as the woman who was going to be his wife. And that I never wanted there to be odds between us, and that I wasn't trying to or meant to and ever would or could take her place in his life as his mother. And that I was hoping for and looking forward to us having a close and loving relationship because we both love him. And the one thing we don't want to do is put him in the middle. And I knew when she got the letter, because I knew, because when she called me up, she was crying, oh, I got your letter today. And that, from my perspective, and you can let me know what you think, I believe it totally shifted my relationship with my mother-in-law at that point. And we always had a really good relationship. Now, did I always do things right between me and Frank? Absolutely not. But I never heard her. She never spoke a bad or harsh word to me for all of the years of her life that I knew her, that we had a relationship.
Not to your face.
Not to my face.
No, I'm just teasing.
But anywho, so can we do a show on the dismissive avoidant? Yeah. We have done one in the past, T. Thomas, but coming up in the future, probably when we resume in the fall, because I have a lot of topics scheduled between now and June. And typically for July and August, I don't do any live broadcasts because I like to spend a lot of time with my grandbabies. But absolutely, I will absolutely consider that, doing a show on dismissive avoidant, on anxious avoidant and disorganized, and absolutely on secure attachment. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. So what I want to do now, I want to shift a little bit, and I want to look at this dynamic from a Christian faith perspective, because sometimes it can appear as if the scripture that talks about honoring your mother and leaving and cleaving to your wife or to your spouse are at odds. So some people may struggle with that. How do I navigate that? Because the Bible clearly says to honor your father and mother so your days will be long upon the earth. It's the first commandment with promise. So we know that. But the Bible also instructs a husband, a man, to leave his family and to cleave unto his wife. So I just want to speak to that a little bit. They're not competing commands. Actually, they're complementary, but you got to keep them in order. So honor your father and mother speaks to maintaining respect, gratitude, care, and dignity for your parents. In this case, we're talking about your mother. While it also forbids dishonoring them, it forbids cruelty, it forbids contempt, and it forbids neglect. Honoring a mother does not mean obeying her indefinitely. I'm going to say that again. Honoring your mother does not mean obeying her indefinitely, because there has to come a point in time when you reach adulthood and it's no longer about obeying your mother. It also, honoring your mother doesn't mean giving her primary influence or allowing her to occupy the role that belongs to your wife. So when we talk about leave and cleave, that establishes a new covenantal priority. In marriage, a man is called to leave his family of origin in a sense of shifting primary loyalty. It doesn't mean you leave your family of origin in terms of disconnection emotionally or even physically, but it's about shifting primary loyalty. It's about shifting emotional attachment and now having a daily partnership with your wife. The husband is to cleave to his wife, meaning that he joins with her with absolute exclusivity and with unity. The marital bond becomes the central human relationship. And we say the central human relationship because for us as believers, as Christians, we believe that our central relationship is with God. And our spouse comes second only to him. Nobody else. Don't come second to nobody else. The marital bond is the central human relationships. So what might that balance look like, honey?
Yes. A husband should still love, respect, and care for his mother, but he must now prioritize his wife. He can honor his mother without being controlled by her. He can value her wisdom without allowing her to direct his marriage.
Say that again.
Without allowing.
No, say the whole thing.
Okay.
He can value.
Okay. He can value her wisdom without allowing her to direct his marriage. He can support her without emotionally abandoning his wife.
Absolutely. And not everybody can navigate that well. And sometimes you may need some help with that. So I want to give a couple of examples of a healthy faith-based balance and what it might sound like. It could sound like, I love and honor my mother, but my wife is my first human priority. I will care for my mother, but I will not allow her to govern my home. I'll say that again. I will care for my mother, but I will not allow her to govern my home. That is between the husband and the wife. I will not dishonor my mother, but I also will not fail to protect my marriage. I'm going to say that one again. I will not dishonor my mother, but I also will not fail to protect my marriage. A husband must protect that union between himself and his wife at all costs and not allow anyone to come between him and his wife, not even his mother. I don't care how much you love your mama. I don't care how much my sons love me. I never want them to allow me to come in and cause some sort of disunity or disharmony between them and their partner. That's not my place. Because, see, God never intended for parents to weaken the marital covenant that he created. Honoring a mother is righteous, but also when a husband cleaves to his wife, that is also righteous. The key is understanding that after marriage, honor remains, but priorities shift. Honor remains, but priorities shift. Biblically, a man honors his mother best when he does not let that relationship interfere with the wife that God has called him to love, lead, and protect. So if you want to honor your mother, protect your wife, honor your wife, give your wife the first place in your life. So let's say that there's someone listening and they are in this dynamic where they are struggling with tension between a wife and her mother-in-law, her husband's mother. So what advice?
Well, establish the marriage as the primary covenant.
Mm-hmm.
The husband must be clear, intentional, and behavioral that his wife is the primary earthly relationship.
Mm-hmm.
This is not about rejecting his mother, but about properly ordering priorities. Unity between spouses must come before extended family preferences.
Any extended family, not just mama, any extended family. That applies to siblings as well. The wife still has to come first. And something else that I would say is define and agree on boundaries together.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That should be done by the husband and the wife together. And here's some of the things that you should determine. Determine what's private versus what is shareable about your marriage. Because there's some things that your mama ain't got no business knowing when it comes to you and your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I got no business knowing some things that go on between John and Liz or between Hammy and Nene. That's not my business. That's between them. So agree together what's private and what is shareable. Agree how decisions are made internally between the husband and the wife versus with outside input. And this might be a tough one to agree on. Acceptable frequency and type of contact with the mother. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess it has to come up for discussion, because if I'm the kind of man that wants to call my mother every day just to say hi, if it's not impacting our relationship, then it shouldn't be a problem. And if it is, we need to talk about it.
Right. That's what this is about.
Right. Because I mean, just thinking about it, I don't see how just a man calling his mother every day just to say hi.
Okay, but let's say you and I, we're chilling, relaxing. We got our glass of wine. We got Luther Vandross playing in the background. We're comfortable. We're getting ready to get our swerve on. The phone ring, and it's your mama. You gonna answer?
Well, first of all,
no. Are you answering?
No.
Is you gonna
answer? First of all, we were talking about me calling every day.
Okay, yeah, but
Val, I'm gonna say yes, and here's why. Because I don't know why she's calling. She could be having a fire in the house. Someone could be breaking in. Well, so I can't just ignore that call. Now I can pick it up. Hey, man, Mom, sorry, can't talk to you now. And to just totally ignore a call, I don't think would. Because imagine how I'm going to feel and you're going to feel later if you looked at me and said, don't answer that phone, it's just your mother again. And we both agree. God forbid. I don't answer that. Oh, okay.
You got a point.
Call her, pick it up.
You got a point.
As soon as I start to feel it get long-winded, Ma, I'll have to call you back later.
John said he ain't answering once Luther comes on. Yeah, but I think that's a discussion for husband and wife to have. How are you going to navigate that? Because you have a valid and a great point, but I see the potential for a wife to not like that very much.
Well, if it's happening all the time, and we got Luther on and she's doing it every day.
Right.
Okay, maybe that's an issue for me now to talk. Hey, Mom, listen. Now, I thought about something.
What's that?
If that call's coming in and she's living with dad, so to speak, or she has a husband, he don't have to be my father, or she's living with someone, maybe I don't feel the urgency to ignore that call. But still,
you don't feel the urgency to answer.
It's just that gray area, because you just never know.
That's very true. That's very true.
Pick it up.
But listen, if we already, if you on the downstroke and that phone ring, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't. At that point, I probably won't answer it, because it's 68 stopping things. It's like that big tanker. Once it get moving, you got to turn going. So I might have to let the phone ring until I drop anchor.
Then you can pick it up. You right about that? Yeah, because we ain't as young as we used to. Listen. Yeah.
Oh,
if
man.
it's working, we gonna handle our
I might have to say
business. I'm sorry, Mama. You may have to wait for a little while on that one. And talking about boundaries, I think, and some of those conversations is also to talk about how interference might be handled. John said we nasty. Yeah, that's how you got here, baby. How interference might be handled. I'm a firm believer in each partner handling their people.
Yeah. It's not incumbent on you to check my mother or vice versa. You check. We check each other in the house. Say what the issue is. Listen, you need to call your mom.
Because I see sometimes on some of these so-called reality shows where a wife is just getting nasty with her mother-in-law and just rude and disrespectful and cursing her out. And oh my God, Frank, we're not discussing whether it's scripted or not. We're talking about what we see.
Well, honey, I can't help but shake my head because it's scripted
but ratings. We don't know. I am assuming that it is not scripted, and this is a real interaction between a wife and her mother-in-law. And for me, that is one of the worst things that a wife can do, is to disrespect her husband's mother and get all up in her face and be nasty and cuss. Oh no, I would have slit my own throat before I would have disrespected your mother in that way.
She might have slit it for you.
Well, if I got, knowing my mother-in-law, listen, let me tell you, my mother-in-law, she was short, but she was powerful, okay? And if I had dared to get up in her face like that, she just might have slit my throat. But no, there's no way I would ever have considered that. So what some other advice would you give to a couple who is struggling with tension between a wife and her mother-in-law?
Okay, you want to help the wife feel seen and secure. The wife distress is often less about the mother-in-law and more about feelings.
Right.
Secondary, unprotected, invalidated.
Right. So a lot of times it's not about her and the mother. It's about her and the husband and how the husband may be handling the situation. And that has the potential to result in her feeling unprotected and her
if he's allowing the mother, like I said, to come by, call her shots, call the wife out of her name and all that other thing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do anything to protect her.
He doesn't do anything. An example for the husband is to say, babe, I see you, I choose you, and I will protect our relationship. You gotta reassure your wife and help your wife to feel secure in the marriage being the primary relationship. Another thing that you could do for these couples, some advice that I would give, some encouragement, is to encourage differentiation, but not disconnection. See, sometimes, there's this whole thing I see on these social media streets about just we're going to disconnect from people, you're going to cut people off and you're going to do all that. Sometimes it's not really necessary to fully disconnect or put people out of your life. The goal is not to cut the mother off, but for the husband to function as a separate and mature adult who is able to love his mother without being controlled by her, who is able to disagree with his mother without guilt, and who was able to prioritize his wife without anxiety. And see, sometimes that could be a problem for the husband because he gets kind of nervous. Oh, I don't want to upset my mom, so I'm not going to say so and so and so and so, or I don't want to disagree with her. The husband and the wife could have had a conversation about doing a certain thing in a particular way, and then the mom brings in her 2 cents, and the husband is reluctant to disagree with her because he might feel guilty for disagreeing with his mother, or have an onset of anxiety about disagreeing with her. So the goal is for the husband to function as a separate and mature adult. I think a lot of this really and truly depends on and hinges on how the husband is handling this.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. And this one right here, that's something that I say all the time.
Develop a united front.
A united front. Present the united front. Present the united front. Present a united front at all times. Because you and I have different views. We have had different views on that. Because listen, me and the Cookie Man could be on our way somewhere. We could argue like cats and dogs all the way there. When we step out that car, listen, this is my husband. Ain't nobody got to know that he mad at me or I'm mad at him. I can be all lovey-dovey. I can rub that bald head. I can kiss him. I could do all that. But then when the function's over, we get back in that car. Pick up the argument where I dropped it. But Mama had that saying, don't ever give the devil place. And when a couple does not present a united front in public, you are providing ammunition for those who might seek to cause disunity and disruption in your marriage. And that's why I feel so strongly about presenting a united front.
Well, it took me a long time because we arguing in the car. It's hard for me to get out and put a smile on my face. I want to finish it. I want my questions answered. I don't care if I ask them 10, 15 times. Matter of fact, I'm not even open your door. Get out by yourself.
Yeah, but see, when couples show up that way in public, it's not a good thing. Because two things. First of all, there are people watching your relationship that you have no idea who are watching it. Some are watching it for an example of how to show up as a husband or a wife when they have a spouse. Other people are watching it because they laying in the cut, just waiting for the first sign of disunity so they can step all in and say, well, if I was your man or if I was your woman, I would never do that to you. Because that's what people on the outside do. That's some of the things they say. Let's keep it 100, as the kids say. That is exactly some of the comments that some people make. So that's why I believe strongly in a united front, even when it comes to mama. So when you're talking to your mother, there's particular language to use. Say that we have decided, not I've decided. We have decided. Or, you know what, Mom? That doesn't work for us. Now that doesn't work for me. Mom, that doesn't work for us. Or you know what? Hey, we will get back to you. Not me. We will get back to you. What? Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
I remember a lot of decision making. I find out after the fact.
But not where your mother was concerned.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, okay. That's true. I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay. I flipped the okay.
Or not where mama was concerned. Even with mama.
Right. We're talking about mothers. I slipped.
See, he's thinking about the grandbabies. And he's right. I don't always consult. I consult him probably 85% of the time when it comes to the grandbabies. So that's what you're talking. We ain't talking about grandchildren.
Right, okay. All right. Okay. Got it.
And something else I would say to couples who are navigating this and struggling with it. When needed, bring in support. Get some counseling. Go to couples counseling. Individual counseling if there are issues with the husband being enmeshed with his mother. You don't have to write it down. I know the time. And I
was about to write a basketball and put Spalding on it.
No, I know.
The game came on at 6:00. It might be over.
Might be.
Whatever.
So anywho, I appreciate you being here.
All right.
Thank you so much. And for those who have hung in here with us this evening, I thank you. I appreciate you being here. And I just want to say this as we close. A man's relationship with his mother can offer insight, but it's not a life sentence because patterns can be repeated, but patterns can also be healed. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness, accountability, and growth. Healthy marriages are built when both partners are willing to examine their past, take responsibility for their present, and intentionally build something different for their future. So whether you're dating, engaged, or married, pay attention to the patterns. Have the conversations, and some of them might be hard conversations, but have them anyway. And don't ignore what needs to be addressed, because at the end of the day, love is not just about how we feel, it's about how we show up. So I want to thank you again for tuning in on this episode of Marriage Beyond the Breach. And anyone, if you've come across this YouTube channel by happenstance and you haven't already done so, like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. You can also find us on YouTube. No, we're on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. Just chillax, baby. Chillax. And if anyone is in need of counseling, here's some ways. I am at Mending Hearts Behavioral Health and Family Services. That's located in New Jersey. That's mendingheartsbh.com. I also practice privately at Marriage Beyond the Breach. And you could reach me here, Valerie, at marriagebeyondthebreach.com. And I'm going to go right now because my husband is chomping at the bit. But come back next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about financial infidelity, because I don't think we talk about that enough. We talk about the other kind of infidelity, but we don't always talk about financial infidelity. So be here next week. I love you guys. I'll see you then. Thank you so much.
You're supposed to excuse me 5 minutes.